to your health. Joining me today is Dr. Lorraine Maita, a functional and integrative medicine physician who practices anti-aging medicine, executive health, hormone replacement therapy, and weight management. She's the author of Vibrance for Life, How to Live Younger and Healthier. She's here today to discuss genetic testing. Welcome, Dr. Maita. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Joan.
So, Doctor, there are many companies today that are offering genetic testing. Why would someone want to do a genetic test?
Well, Joan, our view of genetic testing has changed so much. In the past, somebody wanted to know if they had some death-defying illness like Huntington's chorea, or if they had the BRCA gene and it was fixed and it was a death sentence. But now, people are realizing that genes aren't your destiny. Little changes in your genes, like typos in your DNA, like SNPs, they can be manipulated. You have to think of genes as light switches. They have potential, but you need to actually do something. You can turn them on or turn them off. So knowing what your potential is and how to harness that can be life-changing. You can really change the way your genes express themselves. You can keep them quiet or you can make them come alive. And that's what's really important, because you can do this by simple things like diet, avoiding toxins, a healthy lifestyle, and taking supplements.
Doctor, from the science of epigenetics, we now know that genes are not fixed and that we're not at the fate of our genes. How can this knowledge then impact our health?
Well, I'll tell you a personal story, Joan. 3 people in my family died of hemorrhagic strokes, meaning they just bled into their brains. And the recommendation is, based on 80% of the population, taking aspirin is going to prevent heart disease and colon cancer. So that's what I was recommending. That's what everybody was recommending. But 20% of people will actually have an increased risk of bleeding from aspirin into their brains or into their gut. So what I ended up doing after that, when the genetic test became available, I tested myself for this gene. And lo and behold, I have the gene that increases my risk of bleeding. And I'm not going to take aspirin because I might end up like the 3 other people in my family. So just something as simple as avoiding aspirin is going to make me prevent a hemorrhagic stroke. And I'm not at the fate of that like my family members were. And I have a lot of patients who come to me and they say, I want to know if I have the dementia gene, the ApoE4, because their parents had dementia and they're afraid and they want to know if there's something they can do. And even if you do have that gene, it doesn't mean it's going to express itself. You can keep that gene at bay by eating a lower fat diet, getting exercise, having more fish oil, taking curcumin, decreasing inflammation, decreasing sugar and refined carbohydrates. All of this keeps that gene quiet, and even if you have it, it's not going to express itself unless you give it the fuel to start turning on.
How does a person go about getting a genetic test, and then how do you interpret it?
There's a lot of change going on out there, and so many new companies are making genetic tests. The first one that became available, and that was very inexpensive, was 23andMe. It's like taking, a 1,000-piece puzzle and throwing it up in the air, and then you have to take a lot of time to piece it together. However, there are some focus tests where you can say, I'm wondering if I'm at risk for Alzheimer's, or if I'm at risk for breast cancer, or am I at risk for autoimmune disease. There are certain testing companies that work and they can actually put together a report that's focused on you, because otherwise you could spend days, weeks, hours on these reports and not really understand it, because you're going to get conflicting information. So I would suggest if you're going to get a test, to get some medical advice. And if you do 23andMe, there are a lot of programs that you can upload that information and they help you interpret it. But it's more beneficial if you understand exactly what it is that you're looking for, because then somebody can help you find it.
Dr. Maita, thank you for being here. If you would like to learn more about this topic or Dr. Maita and her work, you can visit her website, howtoliveyounger.com. And as always, to hear more from Dr. Maita, you can visit our website, cyacyl.com/Lorraine. We'll be right back.